take a seat real fast. Server owners and coders, content creators and streamers, showing off the community with all their features. Issues with updates, someone's mistake, new things they added, angry players it makes. Get in chat, voice your opinion. You're the community and we wanna listen. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community. The greedy peasant, he runs the show, but without his team this wouldn't be so. The queen peasant, who runs the chat with the friendly hello, make sure you say it back. Survival role play, choose a character, hold the dev accountable on every single matter. Social media and TikTok, she likes to toast. Smiley's a people person, new friends on the coast. It's the Peasant Podcast, we're having a blast with the DayZ community, so take a seat real fast. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community. The greedy peasant, he runs the show, but without his team this wouldn't be so. The queen peasant, who runs the chat with a friendly hello, make sure you say it back. It's the Peasant Podcast, we're having a blast with the DayZ community, so take a seat real fast. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community.
Of course, the Peasants Podcast. Today we have an absolutely special guest with us, trying to get this man on the show for a little while now. And of course, I'm joined by a couple of strange-looking co-hosts. But firstly, let's get into the introductions. On my right-hand side, in the construction uniform, Twitch streamer, Xbox and PC DayZ player, Mr. Cornelius the Meek. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming down. And of course, on my left-hand side, filling in for my co-host this week as life takes over, in the red hood and red uniform as per usual, Lady Ponce. Welcome.
Thank you.
And someone we haven't had much on the show, but a big member of the CC, the Savage himself, Mr. Undead Gamer. Welcome, bud.
Howdy. Good to be here.
So,
filling in a new seat.
Filling in, so keeping it warm. We've got Mr. Q off with work and Smiley Bombarder with home life. So we always have people to jump on and fill in, especially these two legends. They are heavily involved in the DayZ community. Lady Ponce herself, owners of servers, coders, Twitch streamer, Undead himself. He's a massive survival game player. Also likes to get into the first-person shooters. You can catch them both on Twitch. They go live quite often. Not as much as they used to due to life, but definitely get out there and give them a watch. But as I said, today we have Mr. Cornelius, the Meek, on. We're going to dive into the world of the Meek. I know a lot of people have some questions, so if you have some questions that you would like to drop in the chat, please do so. I'll try and answer them after our run. Right, some server news and some updates. The zone in May is going to winter. The Zone is a super hard stealth style hardcore server. Recommended not to shoot, but you will find plenty of guns to tempt you. So it's like a high loot, high infected survival hardcore server. Absolutely wicked to play. You'll never play anything like it on Xbox, just to the way the format is. You'll be scared of heading into towns. Mr. Spaz does an absolutely wicked job. Here's a little poster preview. So he does a lot of work with AI and stuff like that. As I always say, AI is out of a job. All musicians and artists are out of a job. AI will take over. So it's a little bit colder in the higher altitudes. But yeah, definitely a wicked server to get into. That's called The Zone. Get out there and give him some love. But yes, that's all the little news we have for this week. Let's dive into our guest, which is probably not what he wants. He just wants a conversation.
That's two different.
Sorry, we lured you in.
Oh, all good, all good. I knew what I was getting into.
That was get into.
This ain't your coffee talk, brother.
Yes. We will be friends at the end.
For sure. Oh yeah, for sure.
Mr. Cornelius the Meek, Twitch streamer, console, and PC DayZ. Cornelius the Meek, while new to the streaming world, has connected to the DayZ community, running with a unique style of exploring without maps. When starting out on the new sakhal map, he went it alone and discovered its mysteries. Cornelius recently moved to the world of DayZ PC to discover more of the DayZ World and now plays in both worlds. Likes to dabble in both. Mr. Cornelius, tell us about yourself and how you became addicted to DayZ.
Yeah, I found it by accident. I've never. This is the first PvP game I've ever played.
Oh shit!
I didn't play a lot of this style of game at all, and I just happened upon it. I was in a very weird way. I was in a Discord book club, and one of the people that was in the club was playing DayZ, and all I did was say like, "What's DayZ?" And he sent me a sour video, and he sent me a fresh spawns video.
Oh, and that was it.
It was over.
That was over. It's done.
That was it. Yeah. So I watched for about a year and a half, and the unfortunate part is everyone trashes on. Not everyone. I need to take that back. I don't want to use hyperbole. A lot of people talk down on console, and so I've said this 1,000 times on my channel. I work on Mac. I don't have a PC, so I just watched. And it's hard to have both, to pay for like a professional setup on Mac and then spend the money that you need for a PC. So
yeah.
I just watched and thought one day I'll buy a PC. And then by happenstance I was house sitting for my brother, and he had a Xbox, and I was like, you know what, let's just see what this is like, because he had Game Pass. I was house sitting for a whole week, and I downloaded it, and the first night I was like, why have I not been playing this on console this whole time? It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, that's kind of like my long backstory into how I got into watching it and in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting way. I mean, I've done a podcast for a long time, but usually it's your mate who drags you into it and forces you to play. But to be involved in a separate entity of a club and to get a little dabble on it, yeah. And then, of course, spent the whole week playing it, getting right involved, and that was it. It was all over.
Yeah, he has the last gen Xbox, and I think like 2 days later I went out and bought a Series X, and I was, after just one day I was like, this is too good not to be this all the time.
That's wicked. That is absolutely wicked. Absolutely wicked. That's a cool little addiction story to have. So, DayZ could be a hectic place to get lost, especially if you're brand new to, exploring the maps and stuff like that. What was the motivation behind exploring the maps without using the maps, or pretty much, knowledge of where to go and how to get there?
So I ran Chinaris for, I don't know, the first 4, 5 months. I really enjoyed it. And then I hopped over to Livonia to play with someone I had met. Uh, I didn't know about iSurvive when I first started, so I just ran around and found maps in game. I thought that's how it worked. So
Oh.
when I hopped into Livonia, uh, my friend sent me a link to iSurvive the first time I played it, and we ran for 2 or 3 times, and I just came away feeling like really bummed, I guess, that I didn't explore it organically. It just was so different than Trinaris because you don't know the map, you just struggle at the coast, and you can barely make it to a town, and you can't find a town, and you die over and over and over. But like the repetitive nature of that led to that. Like you make it to the first time I found Novi, I was just telling Toby Tsunami this the other night. The first time I saw Novi, I like lost my mind. I was like, I've made it. The world is mine. I made it this far inland. It's incredible. And when I used iSurvive on Livonia, it just was such a bummer because it kind of took away that like joy of survival and exploration and not knowing where you are and struggle. And it was fun because we met up and we were able to run together. But I think coming from that, I just was like, I don't ever want to do that again. I wanna suffer and struggle on every map that I play, and especially I wasn't sure when I'd be able to move to PC. And so for me, it was like, especially with Sakhal, I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I want to enjoy every moment. I want to enjoy every death. I want to enjoy every struggle and fight and like linking health and coming back from the brink and surviving to just get killed by wolves. Like, that's what I want, and that's what I want in the game. I want that adventure. So it's not the easiest, and I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. And I'm not saying that I'm playing the right way, but it's just the way I want to play.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, you'll get the same sort of thing from a lot of veterans. I know a lot of people, especially when Sakhal came out, did the exact same thing. I went a week without exploring because you get to used to the map, that wow factor of the original run of, like, as you say, you get to Novi and there's another big city inland, and there's all this open space, and you get to Tizzy and Northwestern Airfield, and it's breathtaking. It's you're in awe almost. No, that's definitely an explorer's motivation to move across the maps. And just to move on with that, with your PC exploration, is it the same sort of thing, especially with like Deer Island, Namalsk, those sorts of map? Are you going in blind and just feeling your way through?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been spending a lot of time in Trinaris just because I love it, and I'm having to get to know the keys and mouse. So it's a little bit easier right now while I'm figuring all that out to be able to navigate a map that I know. But I did do a playtest on Nyheim, which is a Norwegian map that was out just for about a week. That was my first community map that I tried, and it's expansive and huge, and same sort of deal. If I can find a map in game, I feel like it's fair game.
And
But yeah,
and saying that, with the maps on PC, I was watching you play Deer Isle the other day, and the difference in the maps alone is just would add to that exploration style.
yeah,
As
absolutely.
as in the physical item maps, it's just not the piece of paper that pops up. The Deer Island one was actually, you could see your hands, you could see the whole map in your hands, looking through your own eyes. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really really cool. So yeah, Deer Isle, that was my first run last night. Nipping into there and just like a whole new world and beautiful vistas, and I take a lot of screenshots in game, and yeah, just kind of those like memories of the first time. it's funny. I get so many memories triggered just from like hitting a Vista and be like, oh, I remember this one time here. I remember this well. Like just the best memories in the game.
And I guess that's the things about always coming back to Chernarus. We have such good memories, especially, you know, exploring it with friends, but also exploring it solo and investigating, that you do get those memory flashbacks. And you do, oh, I remember this part. I remember when I first got here. And you take those clips and it's good to go back through them.
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone gets tired of me talking so much about my memories of the game.
No, you talk
Dude,
away.
everyone does that. Everyone does that. It's
it's-
DayZ, brother.
It's literally so refreshing to hear someone else's aspect on the game that we all love and hate at the same time. And you know, you've literally just got such a beautiful sentiment about this game that we all have in common, and it's nice. It's lovely to see, and it's so exciting starting from the beginning as soon as you enter this world, and then it just skyrockets and you find so many different cool people to run with, and then you just end up falling more in love because you're surrounded by great people and you're just having the most fantastic time. And then before you know it, 6 or 7 to 12 years have gone by and you're still loving this game. It's great.
Yeah, that's
I can
amazing.
say with
So
5
cool.
years, the most memorable shit will always be the communities, right?
Yeah.
Those interactions in
always.
game between going to different maps and all that, like it's you always remember certain locations just because of something that happened there, and it's never alone. It's always you're either with a buddy or it's a random that you ran with. But those memories,
Yeah.
they just come back, and sometimes it's good to talk about.
And
Yeah.
also,
Oh yeah, of course.
and also the memories that also you may be by yourself in game, but you may be streaming, and you get that connection with stream of an event or, you know, something that happens that, you know, people consistently bring up and revisit because it touched so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
It doesn't even have to touch it. It could just be nuts and stupid, and it just stuck.
yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah, 100%. But going back to the new map, Cornelius, the new map's has a lot going on with it. With the next update, what's your thoughts on the direction that Sakhal's headed?
So I haven't had enough time to really dig into it, to be totally honest with you. Been over to PC just in the last 2 weeks. I've been pretty busy with that. So just very cursory updates. I plan on hopping into an experimental server in the next week, kind of start looking through that. But I just say, like, in general, the way that the game operates as well as it does. I know there's glitches and servers go down and things like that, but I think overall the fact that, like, we can play this expansive game and it runs as smooth as it does is pretty impressive to me. So I'm always be happy with just Bohemia in general.
Oh, that's a very neutral response when it comes to the not the usual one that Bohemia gets. let's just say that Bohemia usually cops a big mouthful, but especially being in the later years
yeah, I mean,
of DayZ, you've got a fresher look at it of the game itself too.
yeah, my takeaway is I look at the amount of hours that I play it, and if there's a little inconvenience from time to time, then it is what it is. But I mean, I think we can all probably say, how many hours do you have in the game? And overall, it runs pretty smoothly for that time. So
100%. Definitely got your
It's
money's
hard
worth.
to say you hate the game. It's
Yeah.
hard to say you hate the game when you've logged over 4,000 hours.
Thousands. I've got over 6,000. I think I have a problem.
Oh, and I'm the flexing Texan.
Yeah, we don't mention the
yeah.
peasants' DayZ hours anymore, but
He's only first on my leaderboard on all 3 of his ults.
9 billion hours.
It's
I mean, I guess
yeah, far away.
I guess the main update that's coming along is for cars. And I'm going to be honest, I walk pretty much everywhere. I like exploring on foot, so it won't affect me. I know a lot of people are excited about that. I'm really happy for those people, but that one's not going to be too much for me.
What's the deterrent of cars?
I think that exploration. I think you never know what's going to be over a hill or a valley or...
Yeah.
I run solo so much, I don't really have anywhere I need to be.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Sometimes you can, if you rush the journey, you miss out on the adventure. I think that's the best way to put it. But yeah.
Let's face it, Greedy, you can't get a Humvee down a trail, can you?
No. Well,
it's kind of difficult. I mean, it depends on where you're at with the servers you play, but official, and especially running solo, cars are just never something you even really think about. I know I'm too busy
100%.
like taking in landscapes and shit, and I'm like, I don't want to take the time to build up a car so it can get so I can get shot and have it stolen immediately. Like I'm gonna go enjoy my adventure.
yeah.
Like it feels time
I'm with you on
consuming and you miss out.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. That's I think the only beneficial for cars in the DayZ world is the group aspect of having everyone together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when it comes and probably base orientated work, because I find I survive longer now. I survive longer without a car than I do if I jump in a car, and there's just too much problems. You got to look after it. You got to give it fuel. You got to feed it. You can't ram it into stuff at 110k sideways without it having a problem.
Yeah, you give it the wrong driver and you're gonna end up walking anyways. So might as well just walk.
And it saves the disappointment of when you smash the car that you have to leave all that gear there and sit there and decide what you should and shouldn't take.
Yeah, that 30-minute sort of like fuck.
So a lot of people are anticipating a major event in Sakhal, like an eruption, something to do with power. Are you got any thoughts on what you think it should be, or what you would like to see?
I think the ship was a great update. The containers. I'm a little surprised there isn't any gas.
Yeah.
So something like oil derrick, kind of like Namalsk or some of the other maps do, might be really interesting, especially now that boats are a little more readily available. So maybe like another island or another like point of interest on an island. A more extensive bunker system, maybe.
Yeah, the old bunker's not.
They've got.
It doesn't live up to Livonia, does it?
Well, with the containers now, there almost isn't really a reason to go to the bunker anymore. You're better off, I think, finding a boat and hitting the ship and then finding the containers. In my opinion, in my experience on Sakhal.
Even the boat factor of requiring a key, you can pretty much walk and swim and get yourself across to the island and where you need to go. Yeah, it's a funny old map, old Sakhal. There is either a major piece missing, or they have lost the story. There's 3 people writing the story.
I feel like if they were gonna go down the event route, they brought the developer for Namalsk onto the dev team in general.
Yeah.
So we might be getting something like them Red Thunderstorms from Namalsk if we're getting an event at all.
Yeah,
Because they brought their lead developer.
the Eevee Storms.
Yeah, the EV Storm, something like that. And if it was to be like locational, it might be on those fucking containers, right? Like that'd be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Get too close to those areas that are stocked full of them and get hit with them fucking big ass storms.
But
Make it a bit more punishing, or at the same time a bit more of an escape with actual coding behind it.
yeah. You can get a little lay down time. EV Storm, quick everyone into a building, lay down. Have you actually experienced the EV Storm yet, Cornelius?
Yeah, so I was playing a server called the Winter Chinaris Experiment,
Oh yeah.
and it's a new server that's out on PC that's linked to Namalsk. So there's supposed to be like, I don't understand exactly what it is, but they have the storms and orbs on the Chinaris map, and they're supposed to be able to like hop back and forth between the maps. Not in the game, but they're like connected in that way.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty sick.
But there's, yeah, I mean, Sakhal is a really interesting map. When I played it the entire month of March, and I played official. There's the movement's so hectic for geared players and fresh players through the map. I really enjoy just you never know where you're going to see someone at any map, and it could be a fresh person, the volcano. It could be like a super geared dude at the coast. Everyone's just trying to stay warm.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, and it's the biggest attractant for action too. I was watching Mr. Reno Dunes and Mr. Codebuilt playing on Sakhal, and they had to light a fire, and they got swamped by 5 fully geared guys in a house on the coast.
Oh.
And fully geared too, like maxed out. Like they couldn't play for shit. I mean, they took them down because they were only fresh. But even still, they went back with basically nothing, grabbed a gun each, and had a shot at them, and just got tromped. But you know what I mean? That a lot of people are deterred by that image of Sakhal. But I think that's DayZ. I think you need that to help you push you off the coast and get inland.
I feel like I don't know, it feels like it's a good way to bring back both like that trying to meet up with randoms type crap instead of just run and gun, you know, how it is on Chernors nowadays. Like Livonia has a bit of community, but I feel like Sakhal definitely pushes like you're either gonna be fucking people up by a fire or these guys are your friends now because hey, we all need to get warm.
Or they don't have a gun and can't take advantage of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it encourages both violence and cooperation. That's what I've noticed about Sakhal at least.
And
Yeah,
how did
It
definitely
it somehow gets
a lot
both
of people
to a T.
interacted.
Yeah.
do you get a lot of interaction yourself,
fine.
Mr. Meek? Or do you prefer to shoot?
I must get really lucky because I've had a lot of interactions on all the maps, PC and Xbox, of friendly people all the time. I'm very quick to chat, so I think just the people that I watch play I just assume that's how everyone played, where you talk a lot. So I just went into the game talking all the time, and overall I find it, you know, every once in a while you run into someone who doesn't want to, or get to a point in the map where you have to stop talking, and that's that. But in general, I find that people are pretty friendly on both platforms.
Yeah, nice. Definitely, that's I think it's a big part of the game. And the chat said it's your voice. You're calming and inviting.
Yes.
That's good. That's good to know.
I want to listen to you for days.
I can approach you. I can approach you. I can listen to this. Shit, you
Yeah,
just want to be like singing while we run? I'm down.
Yeah. No, and
Yeah, I'd
the
feel
first,
guilty after hearing your voice.
the first,
Yeah, that's probably why I get shot at so much.
yeah.
Your voice
the
is
first run,
hostile on death.
oh yeah. The first run I had on PC, I was up at Military Tizzy, and I walked out of a house, and there's a dude just holding a DMR. It's like, oh hey, how's it going? He's like, oh hey, I didn't expect to see anyone up here. Had a nice old chat. We went our own ways. I was like, what the heck just happened here? Had me completely dead to rights and just talked my way out of it. It's so funny.
You got to get that charm out, and you know what? I think it's part of DayZ the way you. I mean, they say in the hints that your voice is your best weapon, but sometimes if you approach a situation with a lot of aggression, people instantly react to that. Where if you're calm and hey bud, how you going, and you're nice and friendly, even if you have intentions to kill, people will drop their guard. People will, this guy, this could be my next best friend, and then you murder him at Northwestern Airfield about an hour later. Have you done anything sinister like that? What's your most sinister act?
No.
This is confessions.
Yeah, I feel pretty bad. I killed a guy at just trying to drink out of the well in Balota like a and a half ago. Just trying to live his life, and I was behind him. I feel pretty bad about it.
His most sinister act was shooting a man that was unguarded.
That's it. With his
At a
back
well.
to at a
He's
well.
just-
Is
trying to
it
do his
offensive to call you green?
Oh, the poor guy was
not
only
a-
trying to hydrate.
It'll get worse,
Jeez.
bud. It'll get worse.
And I think it's
I try to let people do their thing, and there's a time you got to act, but a lot of those times, like, I leave a lot of people just to go on their way.
Yeah, it's cool. That is a cool, and I think it's more of the untrusting or people like myself. Like I don't like to leave people behind me. A person behind me is someone who could find a gun and follow me. Maybe it's the paranoid DayZ player in me, but it is definitely good. To see that sort of aspect and the interactions and, just enjoying the game and meeting people. Can't believe he survived a tizzy run, but that's, yeah, you're paying, you'll pay your dues on the DayZ World.
Yeah.
I understand the risk I'm taking, and I definitely have got many times, but I just don't want to. I don't want to change my outlook on that, and I want to let people. There's a point in maps, especially with one well, like Chinaris, where there's kind of a line you cross where, if I had been on Xbox and not PC, and not my first run up in Tizzy, like, would have been different,
Yeah.
But I got lucky on that one. But as far as I have a pretty strong line on Chinaris of where I'll be friendly as a solo, where I'm not anymore. So.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
It's Steroy.
Yeah, whereabouts is the
Stay
line?
innocent.
Where is your line?
Yeah.
Approximately.
Everyone's got their town that sort of marks it. Where's your line?
Pass.
All right.
I'd say by the time I hit Novi, I'm pretty much done.
Wow.
And Severograd. I forget the name of the hunting camp just south of Severograd, but by the time if I'm doing that run, I'm kind of done there. And then Zelenogorsk probably over on the east.
Yeah, nice. You're definitely given leeway. I'm just outside
A lot of
Berenzino
leeway.
at Clem, and just as I leave Chinaris.
At Kamenka. Kamenka's where I draw the line on that eastern start. Because that's just past Prison Island and Belota. Everyone's got a small arm. Everyone's getting the smoke.
Yeah. I try to be generous and let people thrive.
No, but it is funny how everyone's got their sort of point of where they're like, yep, you know what, it doesn't really matter what happens to me right up to this point, and now it's like, right, now I'm knuckling down. Now you have to take my loot with a fight. And I think that happens broad spectrum across every map.
I think it can change depending on location. I'm definitely more willing to talk at Nevea aside from Northwest Airfield. Northwest Airfield, you're catching rounds. But Nevea, shit, you might have shot a guy 10 minutes ago. I don't know. Like, I'll try and chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There are definitely cities that you run into further inland too, where you might have a conversation.
Yeah.
I talk to everyone, me. I bully people to be my friends and talk to me.
That's awesome.
Rat me or else.
Do you know what? Do you know what I've
You have
done
to
once?
realize if they don't agree, they die anyways because she just continues to bully you until you agree.
Do you know what I've done once, Cornelius? Right, so I went onto a deathmatch server with no intention of killing anybody. I stood there singing my little heart out, and everybody in the deathmatch stopped, came over, listened to me, and they were all like clapping in game, and they were all like, "That was good shit, that." And then we all got back to killing each other. It was like so
That's
good.
amazing.
It was like a DayZ concert. It was so funny.
So good.
A little death interim. We will stop the latest killing for a song from Lady Pons.
The Christmas Eve night. Christmas
Let's
Eve
just
night.
take a break, guys.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
It was so fun.
That's a crack up. That is a crack up. But let's dive into your streaming. What brought you into the world of streaming, and why did you choose Twitch to stream on?
I started streaming just because my brother said, "You're playing so much, just start streaming. Why not?" That was kind of it.
That was,
and then with Xbox,
aye, sir.
I think he was making fun of me, but yeah. Then it's pretty easy to go straight from. I use Streamlabs consoles, the Xbox, so it's pretty easy to just head straight into streaming from there.
I guess with the availability of streaming these days being just, a simple make an account and go live, a lot of people jump on Twitch, and you've had quite a good success. You built yourself a little community. What do you think it draws people into your streams and build the Meek community?
So
Definitely
I don't
that
think
voice.
I don't
Charging for the voice alone.
I truly don't think it's me. I think I've had a couple key people who are there almost every night, and I think it's more about. I think it's like on like a not a side part of it, but everyone just has like interacts with each other in the chat, and people kind of see each other every night and hang out and say hey and come and go. And I have people from, like we all do, all over the world that hang out. I stream pretty late for the U.S., so I have a lot of people in Europe that pop in. I have some people that work overnight in the U.S. that are in there, and I think it's like part me, but more them being able to hang out and say hi to each other and connect every night and check in and have a little adventure in DayZ and just kind of hang out. So I don't know how much it is me and how much it is more just good people hanging out and chatting.
He's just too modest, isn't he?
He's too pure.
Yeah, he's too pure.
So
Maybe I need to
pure.
ask Chat. Chat, why do you jump into Mr. Meek's community? I know a lot of Meek's community is in the chat at the moment. Why do you dive into his Twitch world and become, and He thinks it's a pool hall where he's on the background
Where they
TV
got vetoed
like
on
the
his own
TAB
question.
races and everyone's hanging out and talking.
You ever watch a football game with your crew? That's a Meek stream right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A little
Just
bit of
chips and
all.
dip, and there's something on the background. Yeah.
That's but
We're even watching the game, I forget.
that's it. What's the
Exactly.
score?
Yeah.
But and saying that, sometimes that can be the cement that brings a community together. It can be just the camaraderie of people getting in there and chatting. I know between the CC when we started, there was a lot of us that just streamed together, rolled together, played together. COVID was rolling, and that's what really bonded the CC community together. And still to these days, we still hang out and grow. Mr. 303 Gamer says, Corn has chill vibes and is personable. Oh. Chill vibes.
That is so lovely.
Yeah, they're going to get you on that voice, but...
It's like a sleep streamer.
sleep
Turn them
stream.
on and just go to bed.
ASMR.
ASMR.
Happy.
Oh, Meek streaming. Time for bed.
That's it. Fucking, there's money in that, bro. There's money in that. Go harass your microphone for 3 hours.
You gotta lean in real close and just bring it down to a whisper with that calm voice you got. You know?
That's it. That's it. 10 minutes.
Bring it down low.
We're out cold. We're out cold 10 minutes time, but we're watching you for the next 8 hours while we sleep.
He's over here talking to chat. None of his chat's awake.
Exactly. Yep. Where are you guys? Come back.
But let's talk about the recent
I thought
move.
we had some.
The recent move to the PC world and started exploring the modern side of DayZ. What has drawn you across to the PC world?
So that was always the goal. I think watching people that I watched, that's how I wanted to play.
Yep.
And Xbox was, like I said, I try to like sing Xbox's praises nonstop because it's so good, and it's a big investment to move to a PC, especially if you want to run it. Used to watching streamers who have good PCs play it. You want to run it high quality, I think.
Yeah.
You have to, it's an investment. So I definitely will never stop saying like you should definitely play it on console. That's your option, 100%. It's so good. It's no slouch. It's so fun. There's so many good times to have, but my goal was always to kind of move to PC and play it that way. And I moved a little bit quicker than I thought I would, but definitely don't regret. Now that I'm playing, I don't regret it at all, and am very grateful that I was able to move to be able to do both.
That's it is a lot of the pathways that a lot of people take when it comes to the DayZ world. As you say, if you want that high quality, if you want a fast running PC that's going to tank, that's going to run 240 FPS, that's going to have no problem starting up, there's never going to be a problem playing and streaming. It's a very expensive investment. You're looking at $4 or $5 grand just for a decent gaming rig, and especially with the new cards that are coming out now, they're $3-4 grand themselves. So I know the 40s are still quite high in price, but the 50s are massively upscaled. But yeah, you definitely got to. I always say you got to follow your gaming world. And it's funny that you went out and bought that. You say you fast tracked it straight to PC. But I suppose it's like any passion that you get into and get right involved with. You need to, if you need to explore that passion, you dive into it. You get right involved with it. Car people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars doing up a car that they never sell but only drive slowly around the block. And I put gaming down to that sort of regime. You have your set goal of what you want and where you want to go. Is there any common ground between the console world and the PC world in DayZ that you find?
The people like in what regard? I guess I would
Well,
common ground.
either like in the way the game flows, the community, maybe even the map structures.
Yeah, I would say that people are definitely friendlier and more willing to quickly team up on PC. I think there's, you do run into people who have to who are on Discord on Xbox and have to hop over to game chat, and so there's definitely like a little more
Yeah, it gets
culture.
it gets a little bit more fussy when it comes to that party chat. When it used to be a little bit more open and you could just flow, I think the restrictions of party chat definitely hinder DayZ. Whereas, with PC you are in Discord with your mates and on game chat in less than a half a press.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah,
able to alt tabs helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm still trying to kind of understand PC, so I don't know if I'm the right person to speak to that so early on in my
This is the best
journey.
part. We just want to know the Meek's opinion. Never a right or wrong answer. Just how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are quicker to team up. Some of the stuff is definitely a little bit easier. Some of the ways that you interact with objects and things in the game is easier on PC. The inventory management, I always joke with chat about. I love the console inventory. I miss it so much.
It's so much easier, isn't it? Rather than having to play
It's
Tetris.
so much easier. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on. Who doesn't love a good game of Tetris?
I do love Tetris, but
Where the fuck is my food?
there was a moment like a month ago where I had a couple PC people in my stream and I pulled a bear trap out of my pants, and I think they just about lost their minds because they're like, "There's no way you had a bear trap in your pants." It's like, yeah, you just forget about that. So it's like now it's an app. It's like a nightly something that's brought up in the chat, which is always really funny. But I mean, overall,
is that
it's a very
bear
similar
trap in
game.
your pants? Are you happy to see me?
Yes. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, I'm just happy to.
Oh my goodness, there is some merch right there for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, once again, I think it's just, there are some things like, I think you can just boot up your Xbox, just play. There are, especially on modded maps, there is a little more like setup even just to play the game before you even get to streaming. So there is something nice about just coming home, turning on your controller, finding your server, hopping in and rolling. That is kind of nice and simplistic about Xbox. I do like that a lot. Just the whole setups, it's a little bit easier. I play controller. I don't play mouse and keyboard on Xbox, so it's all a little bit simpler over there.
Yep. Are you finding mouse and keyboard easier?
No.
No.
I think the last game like this I played on a PC was, I'm gonna absolutely date myself here, was the original Half-Life.
Yes, legendary.
Yeah. So that's how long it's been since I played any sort of like anything with a gun in my hand with a mouse and keyboard. So
yeah, nice.
Pretty funny, but yeah, they're once again, like, I'll never stop being enjoying playing Xbox from time to time, and I'll never talk bad about it, and I'll defend it to the hilt. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
They're both great. Just play DayZ.
That's it. Well, as we always say, play what you want to play. That's the biggest thing. Go on your adventures. Invest in your chill time, because chill time is very good for your mental health, and your socialism as adults, especially these days. As we get older, we're no longer involved in a lot of people's world. So the socialism of not only streaming but gaming definitely comes in tenfold factors for mental health and things like that. Now we want to see any future goals you have with your streaming. What goals have you set out? Are you going to do any 48-hour streams when you hit 2,500K?
No.
No?
I don't even think 20. I think 24 hours is out of the question for me too. Not really. I'm so grateful for the people that I found on here. When you put yourself out in public, you're going to run into some bad seeds. It's just part of the deal. It's just part of life.
Yep.
But I've found so many cool people in an organic way, and I'm super appreciative for them. And I enjoy seeing people a couple times a week or almost every night on Twitch and game. And I want to just keep building a community that's people are, chill place where people can come hang out and feel comfortable and hang out and chat and part of the community. So I don't really have any huge streaming goals, so to speak. It's been all good times so far.
Yeah, so that's wicked to hear that they had such a good flow into not only the DayZ world but streaming world, and that the comfortability of finding a little community and building it up. But for anyone in the chat, if you have any questions, definitely drop them now. But before they start dropping questions, any shout outs you'd like to do to those that have been with you for the journey? First of all, your brother. Big shout out to your brother for providing the necessary addiction equipment to start off with. And
what a punk. What a punk. That kid's, he's the worst.
Welcome you with open arms. You're never allowed to leave.
No, this was a hard one because when I went through the sheet, there's so many cool people, and I'm gonna leave people out.
Yeah, it is a hard one. So if you get left out, it's not that you missed. It's a bastard to try and write.
It's just that we put him on the spot.
Yeah.
There's kind of 4 people I wanted to mention real quick. And one of them was I found all of you guys through Scrubby.
Yep.
And I found him absolutely organically just browsing Twitch for other Xbox streamers. When I get home from work, I kind of was at a point where I didn't want to just watch videos. I wanted to watch people live and maybe start interacting with someone more accessible. And I just found him being on Twitch one night, and I'm really grateful to be part of his community. He's such a welcoming person for much anyone. It doesn't take much for him to invite you in and run with you, have you in the base building crew, or have you on his server. So such a positive influence in the Xbox DayZ community. And then obviously he's just a straight killer, so that's always fun because you're like someone who can be so nice and just turn on a dime and
go savage,
handle the business. Yeah
Scrubby's a legend.
And then we have a friend in the community named Diane. She's from the Netherlands.
Yep.
And she's in every night. And she was there, I think, right after I hit affiliate. She's so great she hangs out, and when chat's lagging, she'll just be in there chatting away. And so just as someone who's in my community, I have to say, thank you so much. I think she's been instrumental to me. I don't have a huge following, but I have, she's been pretty instrumental in, helping foster and say hello to people, and so I'm grateful for her. I want to give her a shout out. And then one of our other newer friends, Meso, he's a PC streamer.
Yep.
He's been super helpful. He's really nice, kind of similar to Scrubby, very willing to team up with people if you watch his streams, but then he's an animal when the time comes for him to get into the PvP mode.
That's it. Perform.
He's really helped me. Yeah. And he was really helpful in me. It's crazy to watch those two guys go. But he's been really helpful, especially moving over to PC. Kind of helped me get my PC built and tell me like where I could cut corners and where I should really focus the money.
Yep.
And then he sat with me for like the whole first week for all my streams, and not leading me anywhere, but like there was points where he'd be like, okay, like let me give you a hint on like think about how this mechanic would work. And I'm really grateful that he didn't sit there and say, hit this key, hit that key. He like kind of gently nudged me the direction I could go, and I appreciate him. He's also kind of starting out in his streaming journey, and it's kind of fun to I try to support him as much as I can, and he does the same for me.
Yep. Little one, someone's going side by side with you.
Yeah. And then the last one is Sunday. It's just Sunday. She's a PC streamer. I met her about the same time as Meso, and she's been really just supportive and more like the Twitch side. So she's a little bit bigger, and she's kind of just helped me like knowing mechanics and kind of working through just more the Twitch side, the like back end, the deal with people side.
The tech support.
Yeah, and even just like how to navigate chat too. Like, she has quite a few people in her chat when she streams, and just like how to kind of navigate people in your chat and the tech side too. Yeah, so and I know there's a bunch more out there, but between those four, like I'm super grateful for all their help, and then everyone else, like my community is awesome, and thank you everyone else who's been around, and you as well, Greedy. Like I appreciate every time you pop in, and just I try to. When people are new to the community, I really say you and Scrubby are the two I try to point people towards, just because you're so good for the health of this Xbox DayZ community.
Yeah, we won't go away. We've been here for too long. You can't get rid of us, so we force you to like it. We take the Lady Pond's bullying method.
Yeah.
Fucking
We're
you.
here to stay.
We just rock up in your chat and sort of like, hey, this is me. Welcome to the community. This is the Discord. Follow the rules. That's why everyone escapes to PC.
If you're on console,
Probably
we'll
frighten
find
them
you.
off.
We'll find you.
No,
Yeah, I've got a PC. I'm gonna come get you.
that's it.
Bring you back.
But it is very hard to shout out everybody in the world that sort of help, because people do a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's the little things that push the bigger things. So everybody's out there is in the Mr. Meek's community and in his world, and have supported him and has been in his chat and in his raids and things like that. You guys are there to help build this man and bring this man into our DayZ world, and to really help push him deeper and deeper. Undead Lady Pons, do you have any questions for our guest?
I can think of a few.
Fire away.
What was the,
Undead, you can go first.
What was the biggest challenge with getting just your streams kicked off in general? Where did you really have a struggling point, if any? With the stream?
I never had any expectations with it, to be honest with you. So I didn't worry about no one being there. So it's funny. I did like I think an 8.5 hour stream with Scrubby yesterday. We did a duo run, and we were kind of like waxing lyrical about memories. And I remember early on, this guy came into my chat and he was like, yap, 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 yap. Why are you yapping to yourself in here? And it was maybe the one time when I gave me a little pause of like, what am I doing? Like just talking to the wind. But the game's so good, and even if there's 5 people in there, or 2 people, or 1 person that are enjoying it, like I'm just having fun playing a fun game and exploring, and if no one wants to be there, that's totally fine. Like that's great. I'm still having a blast playing the game. So
Yeah, nice.
I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that's honestly that's a fair answer. Yeah, I I get that.
100%. I'll just intervene
I'm gonna
here.
keep thinking Poncer next.
Smiley asks, you mentioned you were in a book club. Favorite book or author?
Favorite author and book is tough because it's always changing. I've been reading a lot of Heinlein lately. I just reread Starship Troopers, which is very different
sick.
than. But I do like sci-fi, so Arthur C. Clarke, Heinlein, are
You
probably
read
two
Contagion?
of my favorites. I have not.
Contagion's good. It's essentially just space zombies. I like Contagion.
Ooh.
Zombies.
I'm
I'm writing that down
weird.
in my notebook.
He's like, yep, that's
My favorite author's Harlan Coben.
Look at these educated people. My favorite author is Bohemian Interactive.
Listen to the only dropout. It's lucky I know a book that ain't the Bible.
Greedy. You calling me intelligent, dude? I've got dyslexia.
Greedy, I don't
It
think
takes
that's a
me
fair
about
thing to
6
say.
to 8 months to read 2 chapters, but I do love reading.
No, that's all right.
I'm a middle school dropout. I've read like 6 books in my life.
Yeah, that's it. I think I read his stuff on the net these days. Smiley says my favorite is Raymond E. Feist or Feast.
What just?
Christ.
Yeah. The Queen asks if you could add a onesie into the game, what would that onesie be? And being a onesie, as in not like a little suit, but as in those blow up, fan force, giant characters. What would the Meek be running down the coast in? I'm a guessing.
It's got to be a fox, right?
Gotta be a fox.
It's got to be.
Big ass
Nice.
fox. like Bandicoot looking fox. Or
Yeah. It's got to
or-
be like really It's got to be really cartoony. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That'd be way more fun.
Yep. Dark Gnome's always wanted to ask, what does the fox say? Do you cop that often?
But actually, I don't, which is really funny. I don't often hear that.
He beat me to it.
Smiley asks, if you could have a DayZ run with anyone, doesn't have to be a DayZ person, who would it be and why?
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say it'd be fun to run with George and John or run into them organically one day, in game.
Yep.
Just because I've watched them so much and I really just enjoy their take on the game. Once again, I kind of like that lighthearted until you're not attitude that some players have, and they're really fun and then just solid players. So if they would probably be the one. It is a streamer, but it'd be fun to
No, that's it. And
bump into them one day.
and I agree with you. They're like, Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, until shit hits the fan. They just sort of cruise. Yeah, what's going on, George? Oh, not much. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's someone there. Quick, get him. Blah, blah, flank. Blah, blah, blah. It's they are cool.
Cruising is a perfect
Dicking
way to call
around
it.
until you guys shoot
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
Who's your
cruising.
favorite streamer?
Well, he's sitting right there in the front row.
Ponce.
Yeah, I mean, Fresh Spawns,
Fresh
because I've watched
Spawns.
them so much, and yeah, they're really great. I watch them. I wish I could. Now that I'm streaming, I don't watch them as much, just because I don't have the time. But they're great. But I also have been enjoying spending more time with people in the community, so I try to support other streamers too. So it kind of cuts into your time with the big guys, I guess. But they're great. I still try to catch their VODs when I can.
It is amazing how much, when you get into the streaming community and especially involved with other streamers, how much it takes a hold of your life. Like, you start this journey of, oh yeah, well, why don't I stream? I game anyway. I game 5 nights a week. For 4 or 5 hours, I'll just flick the stream on. Then you're now spending another 3 nights a week watching other streamers to, support communities and do what you do, and and now you're collaborating. So you're now gaming 6 days a week, watching streamers 5 nights a week. It's amazing how your little game time expands to a full-time job.
Actually, I got another question circling back on the streaming shit.
Yeah.
Where after the no map runs here, because obviously you're gonna keep going back to that, right? You mentioned with Sakhal, like Deer Isle and stuff like that. What do you want to do on the side? Because there's only so much no mapless runs, or when you start to collect that information about the maps you're playing, that you can do. Where do you want to go from this mapless exploration, or where do you want to branch off?
Yeah,
almost?
what's next, or what's the side quests?
Yeah.
It makes me sad to think about that, to be honest with you.
It doesn't have to come to an end. What's the side
No,
quest?
You make a point that you
exactly.
eventually learn the map. Like, I don't need a map for Chinaris or Livonia. Sakhal, I sort of do, but there comes a time where
I need a map for everything that is in Chinoris.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially moving over to PC, like Greedy said, if you were looking at the map of the Deer Isle server I was playing, it's like it just turns crazy because there's a scuba suit you got to find, and then bear pelt you got to find, oil rigs, and all of a sudden you can start looking at, right now I'm just exploring, but then all of a sudden you turn into like missions, right, where you got to try to get into the bunker, then the bunker leads to that, and the mollusk has its whole line, and so in a lot of ways, moving to PC just expands what you can do, and once your exploration is over, then it turns into mission-based. I feel like that will be the next kind of iteration of what I'm doing in my...
Yeah, I think that's the advantage that the PC maps have over the console maps. They are very mission-based, where they've outlaid an actual track for the player to go and do certain tasks to be able to progress and get further. I do think the PC has definitely put that down packed. And it's, DayZ's always the point of, you write your own story, but there has to be, you can't just go to Tizzy when it comes to Chinaris. I mean, for the people that have played and run, that's what you do, that's Chinaris, but, there's not a high appealing compared to, say, Livonia, which has the bunker.
Yeah, and I would say that one other thing is I'm like I said, I'm pretty chatty, but I also am quick to kind of like go my own way. So I like to have a quick fire, share a fish, and then kind of say good day, and then
lone wolf it again.
And so I would like to get better at when I run into people, kind of put myself out there a little more and saying like, yeah, let's run, and having more of that or like meeting someone organically and just run. And I would like to start getting better at offering that up and starting to run with just players in the game that I meet.
Yeah, cool.
You should try RP. That's
Yeah.
a good a good thing to do with RP as well. Like organically meeting people whilst role playing a character. It's good fun. You get some crazy interactions and also some fun ones, and then you do find some boring ones now and again. But yeah, I think RP's good.
Yeah, I'll write that down. That's a good shout out. Thank you.
Yeah, I do find people are a lot more willing to run and start a story on RP rather than than just, when it comes to being on official RP players, they want to write their stories, they want to write their journeys, and meeting someone new can always inspire, something that's fresh. So yeah, Lady Ponce, very, 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 very well done. All right, so we're going to duck into our fast questions. So I'm going to give you 10 questions. I'm going to give you 2 answers. You're just going to give me whichever one you feel is more appropriate to the Meek. Right. Base builder or nomad?
Nomad.
M4 AK.
M4.
Sniper or close quarters?
Sniper.
Beans or spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
Faction or lone wolf?
Lone Wolf. Sorry.
Lone wolf. Sneakers or boots?
Well, I would have said boots, but you got me over to the sneaker game.
That's it. We're all sneaker club. I did have my whiteys on. They're despawned. Filthy. Ghillie or bag?
Bag.
Blaze or tundra?
Blaze.
Chinaris or Livonia?
Chinaris.
Hero or villain?
Hero.
Hero. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right. That's my little 10 questions done and dusted. Anyone else in the chat have anything they would like to ask before we wrap this up? Unless, of course, my co-hosts usually have some business. Do you guys have any business you want to share?
I mean,
that depends on how you're asking.
Any business when it comes to DayZ community, DayZ environment. I mean, we roll Smiley on here, so she takes to she tends to start on a subject way over in the distance and somehow ropes it back to DayZ. So
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt
Savage
that.
wants to know: do you prefer to take a hostage, or do you, as in a hostage, and then obviously check their gear and take what you want, or do you completely rob them and leave them naked?
We're either chatting or hopefully I'm at a distance and they're dead.
Yeah, there's no hostages or robbing them. He's too nice.
No,
He'd rather have the
Either
conversation.
you're dead or we're talking.
That's it.
yeah, for sure.
That's a very interesting concept, isn't it?
It's a good question though. I like that.
Yeah. Whether you take them.
As a freshie, are you a nothing to lose or a try and meet some other people? Like, are you gonna beat the fuck out of the first guy you see as a freshie?
I don't melee with people.
Yeah,
I try to
he's
treat
friendly. He's friendly. Haven't you been listening?
Yeah. I try to treat each life like, yeah. I'm not like a F11er. Like no matter where I spawn, I try to make the best of that life to the best of my abilities. I think it's fun that way. Just for me.
No, I think
Fair.
I think over the last hour and a half we've been talking, you definitely take in the concept of DayZ in the point of each life is an adventure on its own, and each life is precious. And I think a lot of people don't miss that, or not don't miss that, but I think they miss that about DayZ, that it isn't just a run and gun into PvP. That there's a reason why we have a surrender keys. There's a reason why we have all these emotes to be able to indicate to another player that, hey, in this situation, if it was real life, I would give up and hand you all my gear rather than die. It's a very refreshing way to see the DayZ, the next gen of DayZ streamers coming through. For a long time there, DayZ was a PvP game, and it was built to be a PvP game because it struggled in what Cornelius is how he rolls in the game. So yeah, no, it's very impressive. Keep it up. Definitely keep it up.
It's a very new look compared to what I'm used to. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, because a lot of
DayZ. Well,
Yeah.
even it had a time where it did get friendlier, but at the same time, it's just evolved again. If you're on like maps like Chernors, you've heard me rant about this. It's interesting to see somebody who actually takes that aspect of I want to talk, I want to take this life to the max that I can, regardless of the cards that was dealt at the start. Like I'm playing high pop, I spawn in fucking Berezino, fucking 30 dead bodies everywhere. First thing I'm doing is like I drop out. Like I'm either F11 or dipping somewhere else because that's just nuts to me. I don't plan on catching around and talking to folks. I'm like, this is awful. I don't want to be here. The fact that you can like try and talk to somebody in that situation it's almost refreshing, actually.
Very nice.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh yeah, no, I know why you wouldn't recommend it. I know why. I'm saying there's a reason why I would do what I do, but it's refreshing to hear that some people have the aspect of I want to try, right? It's a refreshing point of view compared to my mindset where it's like, yep, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
That's it. Or me like, oh, there's 30 dead bodies. This isn't the place that the action is, so I'm off for an explore. I'll pick up my 5 bandages now, and I'm good.
Yeah. Again, I do the same thing. It's I'm out of here one way or another. Peace.
Yeah. 100%.
Refreshing, man.
Very refreshing. It's good. All right. Well, looks like that's the end of the podcast, done and dusted. Cornelius, I'd like to thank you firstly for coming out and having a chat and exploring the world of the Meek. We wish you all the best with all your stream and run, of course, on PC and Xbox. We will definitely catch you. And for those people out there, you can see him most nights these days. Heavily involved. Oh, that's not the right button. Peasant. Stop pressing stuff.
Yeah, definitely Sunday night to Thursday night on the Pacific time for the U.S. Weekends are a little hit or miss for me, but definitely those 4 nights you can catch me pretty regularly.
Yep. And if not, he'll try and squeeze in an extra one, because we all know what it's like, ladies and gentlemen, when you start this journey. Once you're in, you're in. You're heavily addicted. But there's his Twitch. You can catch him, as I said. Hit that follow button. Give him some love. Cornelius, we appreciate you definitely coming out. And, of course, a big shout-out and thank you to my 2 lovely co-hosts, the legends Undead Gamer and Lady Ponce. If you would all like to rise and draw weapons and at will murder anyone you would like, then you are more than welcome to. Thank you for joining us.
Meek, I got it.
I'm not going to kill him because, geez, he's too sweet. He's too sweet. I'll kill you, greedy.
But
I have to pay my penance. I have to pay my penance.
That's it.
For all the bad things I've done.
I'll touch your toes instead.
You have to, Lady Ponce.
Yep, you have to. That's part of it, Lady Ponce.
It's part of it.
Bring out the savage,
Goodbye.
and then put me back.
I love you, Meek.
And then put me back to the lobby. Fucking your other half has rubbed off on you too much. We love you. We appreciate you.
Definitely.
Oh,
I'm out of bullets.
Definitely. He was always out of bullets too. She's gonna beat me.
I'll get you there.
Appreciate you. Click, click. Yeah, because the whole mag went into you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the podcast done and dusted. A big shout out to Cornelius and me. Give him some love over there. Check him out on Twitch. As I said, he rolls was it Sunday to Thursday, so you'll be seeing on some Xbox, you'll be seeing on she makes it personal. You'll see him on console. He's diving into both worlds. As you can see, he's chilled out, relaxed, chill vibes. You'll fall in love with that voice. But I spent many a times in the Meek's streams, and you are very welcome. The community there is absolutely wicked. A big shout out to everyone that came out. in chat. You guys are absolute fucking legends supporting this community. We appreciate you. And you can always, if you missed any of it, you can check out the video, which we'll release by next weekend. But yeah, big shout out to Cornelius for coming out. We all know he's a little bit shy, but I think he did absolutely fantastic. And it was good to get to know him a little bit deeper and to find out a little bit more about him. But a big shout out to Lady Ponce. You savage. I love you. You're the best. Just drilled undead. He was going to do it. Appreciate you coming out. Love your work. And a big, as I said, big shout out to Mr. Cornelius and, of course, Lady Ponce and Undead for coming out and filling in. And we will catch you guys on the next stream. Love your work.